So Blood Memory was inspired by my son, Oscar, and myself. I'm Emma Clayton and I'm the artistic director of Blood Memory. I'm also a performer in the company and I'm a teacher as well. We started messing about together. I was teaching him a little bit of contact work. He was only 5 years old and it built a great rapport and bond with us. And we just, from there, started getting other families interested. And then before we knew it, we started creating work and performing together. And we decided to go for some Arts Council funding. We got some match funding from a local community, Hawksworth Wood. And then last year we launched Violet, which was our first R&D piece, which was funded by the Arts Council of England.
My name is Georgia. I got involved with this project when Emma asked me to do some work with the members of HOPS, collecting their stories from what they remember of the Second World War. So I have written and recorded the music and I'll be singing and playing live during the show.
So Counting Planes is inspired by the ladies and gentlemen who live in Hawksworth Wood. I met Violet Kennedy last year, who's 93 now, and we decided we'd do a little project with Georgia. And Georgia started working with singing with them. And from this, we started learning more about their lives and their stories they had to tell. And those stories began Counting Planes.
All the stories that we collected from the members of HOPS inspired what we've done. So there's lots of different tracks about different characters. So for example, a character called Pearl, who was a soldier during the war. So there's a song called Pearl's a Soldier. There's a character called Winnie, who gave us the inspiration for the title, which is Counting Planes. Her and her brother used to lie in bed counting the warplanes going over. She told us about how she could tell when it was a German army plane, because the sound was different, and the sort of fear that they had hearing those planes going over.
So a very big part of the inspiration of Counting Planes was working with Margaret Rulsley, who's in her late 80s. She decided to help us by creating a reading for the memorial event, which encapsulated all the ideas of people who had fought in the war, who had worked during the war, and then what happened to them. It wasn't just about being local, it was becoming global. I really appreciate working with her. She's a researcher in her late 80s, and to be working with someone like that was absolutely brilliant, something I've never done before.
I'm Boback, I'm one of the dancers in the piece. I've worked for Blood Memory with Emma's company on a couple of projects now, so I'm really excited to be back again making this new piece. So Emma's come into the studio every day with loads of different things to help make the piece, which is really exciting. Some of them are first-person accounts from a pilot describing the things he felt and what was easy and how the controls work, all sorts of it, down from technical side of it to the feelings. Also, we had actual pamphlets and things to do with subjects like Make and Mend Do, about how everyone was encouraged to reuse things they had so that things could be saved for the war effort.
The challenges were getting the plane off the ground as such, because we had some issues with funding. Last year I was very lucky to get some really good match funding. This year I had funders pull out, so I had to find source funding myself. I had to write much more applications, so I'd say that was quite a big thing. The best thing was we got the team together again. We got Georgia, we got Boback, we got James. Everyone was up for doing another piece.
My name is James. My role in the piece is as a dancer. I'm playing numerous parts. We're all playing sort of pastiches of different characters. The piece has morphed a lot. There are 2 different performances of it, one for the memorial and one for Yorkshire Museum of Farm and the tour piece. They both come from a similar place but are completely changed. So there's bits of each performance that are the same, but they're 2 separate, completely different pieces. I guess that's the biggest challenge.
Okay, so it's been good to have lots of challenges because of the various spaces we're using. So for instance, today we're at the museum, the Yorkshire Museum of Farming, which is very different to the church where there's a memorial thing, so completely different spaces, and it's about how we best use those spaces, different audiences. One's going to be family audiences, again at the church it's not family audience. So it's like, how do you tailor the work and make different variations, and also we want to make the length of it suitable for wherever we are as well. So it's a good challenge as a performer to have different versions of the same piece, so you can't get caught in a trap. You have to think, okay, which one are we doing? It's really good.
My hopes for this work are to engage with wider audiences. Bringing the work out of Leeds for a start is a big thing, because we've only been attached to a small community. When we move into Hull, we're going to spend a whole day with a community we've never met before, and I'm hoping it's going to be a mirror image of Hawksworth Wood. People of all ages and abilities, so it's going to be inclusive work as well. We'll spend the whole day with them. There'll be 2 other companies performing. At the end of the day, Blood Memory will premiere their work and perform with them.